Okay, I'm going to show you how to do the covers of our photo boxes. When I was on holiday, I collected some magnets and I'm making some boxes with accordion photos, both two different directions. I learned it from Claire Cheville, and she has one size top, and I thought if we changed the size in the center, we could use magnets or other items for our little box. And let's see. So I've tried different sizes, and I'm going to just show you how I do it. I take the magnet and I make it a little bit bigger around the magnet, and I draw a picture to find the center. I just took a white pen and I draw an X in the middle of my box just to find the center, and go corner to corner. It won't be showing because the magnet will cover it, but that'll show me where I place the rectangle for the size of my box. So they're all a little different, but I made this one, looks like 4 by 3.5. So take this paper, fold it in quarters, find your center spot, and then just put a dot on your page so you know where the center is. Flipping it over again to the other side. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if I open it all the way up, place it on those dots I made, I can make the rest of the dots. And this is going to show me where I need to cut my hole in the cover. So I'll connect those dots. And it doesn't always come out perfect because my blade on my paper trimmer cuts only about 1 millimeter, and the tag board I'm using, the mat board, is 2 millimeters. So I have to flip it over, and it's not always lining up. But because I'm using on the My Creative Spirit black tape, I can easily cover up any flaws. So I will just take a cutter, find my beginning line, and go to the next line. There's a little point on most cutters that'll show you the end, and I'm just cutting along the white lines that I drew. Now if you're more exacting and you're worried about it being perfect, you might want to use an X-Acto knife. My hand isn't quite strong enough for that, so I'm just using a regular paper trimmer. And after you do one side, you flip the other, and this is when you find out how exacting you were, if it lined up. So I did the same design on both sides, little X for the center. Now I'm poking it out, and I always have one that's not perfect. Let's see, I'm going to try cutting this one. Maybe I didn't even cut that one. Let's put it in the center. There we go. That looks better. So now I have the hole cut out, and I don't need the cutter anymore. I'm then going to treat this just like it was an album page, and I'm going to cover up the edges, half on, half off. I'm going to start with my smaller sides. Doesn't look quite half, so let's try that again. I'm having trouble getting a straight line here. If I lined it up along the grid, that would help. So this will tear, but I find it looks a little neater if I just cut it. And I'm going to edge 4 sides. I start with 2. And I'll cut into my corners. Little tail there. it's all black, it won't show anyway. We're going to be putting design paper on top of this. I went to 5 different countries in the month of May, and I'm making a box for each country. And I purchased in the gift shops a little magnet from each country. So I'm just folding down on the edges, and then I'm going to do the long edge. Now, if you use gray board, you have to be a little more careful about your corners, but because I'm using black matte board, the corners won't show at all. So again, I'm doing it halfway on, halfway off. Little wrinkle there, so I'll just lift up and straighten it out. It's pretty flexible, pretty easy to remove, and it's also very thin, so you don't feel it through your papers at all, but it gives you a nice smooth edge for these little shadow box covers. Just making a regular file box for the actual albums, and it's made the same way as the cover. Okay, now did notice that my white shows there, so I might just put a little teeny piece of tape over the corner so that won't show through when I put my center sunk box. You also could use a black marker, you don't have to use more tape. But since my white showed, I'll just put that on top. Okay. Now after you get your center hole protected and smooth, or sort of smooth, this is where your little box is going to fit in. I haven't made the box yet. But I find my cover, and I'm now going to put tape along all 4 edges. And this is to hold the sides of my cover. Again, I'm trying to do it about half on, half off. And I'm not going to worry about it too much because the corners are going to be trimmed off. So I won't worry about how neat it is, so I'm just tearing it. Pick this up and cut my corners off. And just go trimming right to the corner at a diagonal. And this will help hold my sides of my cover in place. There we go. Okay, I have 2 short sides, 2 long sides. I'm going to start with a long, and I want it to go equal to my box. I'm holding it at a 90-degree angle and just pressing down. I'm going to take that off because I wanted the smooth. I have a rough side and a smooth side, and I want the smooth side on the outside. So I'm just placing it down, rubbing it down, and I will go add some more tape on the inside after I do those 4. Doing the same thing on the sides. Okay, I've got 4 sides. There's a little gap there, and that's so it'll sit right under it nice and even. Now I'm just going to put a piece of tape on the inside and make it nice and secure. This cover could have weight in it. I'm just doing a magnet, but you want it to be secure because we're going to put acrylic on top to show what's inside your little indented box. And I'm going to put the acrylic on in another video when I decorate and put the magnets in. I just wanted to show you how to compile the top. Okay, one more. And then we do the sides. Okay, now I want all of my sides to be under the cover, so it won't be too big. I just take a small piece of tape, fold it the right sides together so it doesn't stick, make a little triangle there, cut off the edge, and then I put it at the tip, fold down, make sure it's straight, fold over, and then I'm going to just make one little cut to the corner. My extra pieces I'm just folding down inside the cover of the box. I'm going to put another piece to make that more secure, and I'm going to wrap the whole box. But I just wanted to show you the process. So fold your right sides together, cut off a little triangle, put this at the corner. It might be easier to make the slit first. Fold it over, and then the extra piece just fold it inside your cover. Okay, I'm going to switch to another cover that I've got to this point, just to make things a little faster. And after I get all my corners anchored and a piece of tape inside to hold it, I'm going to do half on, half off all over the bottom. So I just lay it halfway on one side and wrap the tape around the whole bottom of the box. Now, since I'm making a few of these boxes, I'm almost doing it in like an assembly line, but every single magnet was a different size, so every single hole in the box was different. And that took a little bit of figuring for me. Okay, I didn't overlap that perfectly, so I'm just going to cut the edge off a little. Now, this one I don't care what it looks like in the inside, so I'm just making a straight line to the corner. And you can cut out a triangle if you want it to look mitered. But one side can be straight and the other one mitered, it's your choice. You just fold over the edges. I'm doing the small sides first. And then I am going to make that a little bit of triangle there. Again, I'm using black on black, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to be covering this with design paper afterwards. Again, that's another video. Okay, so I almost have my cover ready. Okay, this one happens to have a skinny thing, a skinny magnet that's going in. And this is the little box that's going to fit in. First, let me show you how the boxes are made. After you decide the size of your box, and whoops, got too much stuff here. This one was 3.5 by 4 inches. That's the bottom. Then you make it 1 inch bigger, and you make 2 score lines of 1/2 inch, and they intersect. And you're going to cut them all off in the corners, but leave little tags. When you leave those little tags, this is going to help you make your box. So I put glue on the tabs. I'll do all 4 same time here. This paper is removed. That's just showing me what size my magnet is. And I just fold it over and hold it so it becomes a little box. Remember, it's only 1/2 inch tall. And because you've scored it twice, it's easy to make it into a box that has a ridge that folds out. So I'm going to be folding out this ridge like that. And that's going to be what fits inside. I'm going to do this one because it's already dry. So after you have your little ridge made, you're going to maneuver that box inside your hole. And then you have an area that can be decorated on the inside of your box to look pretty. But the top part is going to be what's under the acrylic. And I've been using just basic tacky glue, putting a little on, and that fold where you've scored goes right on top of the tape. This is one reason I'm using liquid glue. I find with the tape, the liquid glue holds a little better than double-sided tape. If you want, you can even use more black tape to hold down your corners. But I find if you just give it a little minute to dry, it holds down fine. I have gone back and done a couple of the edges, the little points. So I'm just adding some tacky glue. Doesn't have to be too much. And gluing down the sides. If you do have extra, it'll dry clear, and it is going to be covered with design paper, at least within, I'm going to leave probably 1/8 of an inch showing for a black rim. One more side. And after this dries, it will be able to be decorated. But before you put the decorative paper on, you are going to place whatever you want under your acrylic first. Now, using liquid glue here helps with the cardstock, and I will use double-sided tape for the acrylic though, because I don't want any chance of glue getting onto my acrylic, because it's almost impossible to get tacky glue off of acrylic. Okay. Now, this original piece in here, I think that's good. So now we have a box on the bottom, a little indentation, and that'll be in your cover. And this was just a piece of paper bag, actually, that I cut out to be the same size. I tore the paper a little bit. I cut it out to be the same size as the magnets that I'm using. Now this is one place where I think, when I put the magnets on, that I can use cheap magnets that I got at the dollar store. I think the dollar store is $1.25 now. When I bought these, it was still $1. And I haven't used them because they're 1.5 millimeters thick, and I like 1 milliliter. But I think I'll be using these to attach to the magnets and to give my magnet even a height inside my box. So I will probably videotape when I put them on, because right now this is giving me trouble opening. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So if I find this still has wrapper on it, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just putting probably just three magnets on there. I will glue them to the bottom, and that will give me even another shadow or a height for the magnet inside. And so this is a good place to use some of your thicker, more reasonable magnets. And when we're done, this is my original was a certain size that Claire gave us, and I think I have one of them that size. I guess this is it. And this is what the box looks like before you put it together with the little tabs. When you put it together, it's all ready to put either shaker things or metal pieces or whatever inside. And then it fits very nicely on this box, which you can decorate. And I made one, let's see, this is from Rostock, Germany. This is from Copenhagen. This one is from Stockholm. And what else do I have here? I have one here for Granger in Norway. And I have a lovely painting from the Risk Museum for the Netherlands. So these will be my box tops, and now I'm going to make boxes, and I'll show you in my next video how to decorate both the covers and the boxes and how to make accordion albums. So you may put any size box within your cover. Have fun creating.